Hey guys, I want to come on here and talk about the second half of 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days, and this was episode 4. And before I get into this, I want to say this because a lot of people keep coming on here and putting comments about the talent agencies and supposedly Caesar being an actor. Whenever people end up being on reality TV, in order for them to get more work, a lot of them will sign up for talent agencies. Many people already revealed that they were signed up with one, like Anfisa and George had signed up with one. I know Paula had signed up with one as well. It doesn't mean that they're literal actors. It just means that they're signing up with talent agencies because they help them to find more opportunities. I do believe that Ashley Martin, she's with one as well from 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. So it's really not unusual for a person to sign up with a talent agency after they've been on a reality show, because ultimately these reality shows are manipulated, and a lot of these people do go on to do different types of work, and they essentially become public figures or entities that need agencies or representations after they're on these shows. And so I want people to understand that just because he signed up with a talent agency does not mean that he is a paid actor, or that Caesar's situation isn't as pathetic as it actually appears, because really it is. And even if it wasn't, just a portrayal of how they're making him look on there, and his willingness to make himself look that way, is very telling. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody who subscribed to me on Patreon and who continue to support via Patreon. If you want to become a patron and support, you can click the link in the description box and become a patron to support the channel. You can also support via PayPal or through Cash App, and the links to those will be there as well. If you choose to support via Patreon, you will get access to exclusive live streams, exclusive contents, and any other content that I put there that is not on YouTube. And again, thanks and a big shout out to everyone who already subscribed. But in any event, I want to start with Timothy and Jennifer, because he ends up arriving to Colombia. He brings a huge teddy bear for Jennifer's daughter. I'm honestly not sure why Jennifer is having her daughter meet Timothy at this point in the relationship. Like, I get that when you have a child, you want to ultimately see if the man and your child gets along well, because of course if he's going to be there, then the child has to like him and has to be a good fit. However, they've only been talking for 8 months, so I don't even feel like it's appropriate for her to have her child around this man. It's like, you don't know if he's going to be there or not. At least see if it's stable. Like, they're at the point where she's trying to see if she likes him or see if she wants to be with him. I guess some people in different cultures, they have different ways of doing things. I certainly wouldn't have anybody around my child unless I know for a fact that we're getting married and we're in a long-term relationship. I'm not going to be having somebody meet my kid when it's the first time I'm meeting them in person. But whatever, at least he came bearing gifts, and she was happy about that. Timothy rented an apartment, and as they're driving through the car to get to the apartment, he's appearing to be insecure to Jennifer. Jennifer makes mention about how Timothy won't look at her, how Latin men are a lot different than Timothy. And I can see how that will be the case, because it seems like foreign cultures, they're more straightforward. They do appear to have more confidence. They don't really beat around the bush or do the fake niceties like Americans do. And that was something that Anfisa noted when she was on 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. She talked about how fake Americans were, because they'll smile in your face when they really don't like you. How she didn't feel comfortable not having to talk to someone that she really didn't want to talk to. She didn't really like the fake formalities, and I feel that because I don't like him either. And so it kind of sounds like that's the issue that Jennifer is having, and she's noticing a cultural difference. She don't believe that he acts like the Latin men, but also he said himself that she's way out of his league. She's too pretty for him. So therefore he's feeling insecure about being with her. But they end up getting to the apartment. He comes bearing gifts, and the reason he's giving gifts is because he's sitting in the car talking about how his ex-wife called him and basically talking to her about the type of relationship that they have. And I feel, Jennifer, my thing of it is I wouldn't want to deal with a man who had that close of a relationship with his ex-wife. The way he's marketing it to her is as if they still want to be together. I mean, they're hugged up in pictures and things like that, and I get to a degree that this is intentional to kind of cause drama, but a lot of people do end up having those type of relationships with their exes, and I wouldn't be okay with that either. And that's why Jennifer said, you know, do you want her contacting her exes? I'm sure, given the fact that he's already insecure, he probably does not want her talking to her exes, but yet he's keeping up with her, and he's talking about, oh, well, if she's going to act jealous. It's not about jealousy. It's about basic respect. You shouldn't be around your current woman talking to her about your ex-wife. It's one thing for you to have a relationship with her, but I'm sure Jennifer or no other woman wants to sit up here and hear about your ex-wife, because it's going to make it seem like you're just not over it. But anyway, Timothy sits up here and says that he has some secret that he's keeping from Jennifer about his past relationships, and he feels like this is going to break up what they have. To me, this is all the more reason why he shouldn't be meeting her daughter. But he brought a bunch of gifts to her and her daughter, but ultimately Jennifer had to leave to go meet up with her grandparents. And so I want to move on to Darcy, because Darcy is so insecure. She is like a mess. It's really sad to see Darcy. Like, it's interesting that Darcy was on Pillow Talk and she tried to do this fake pretense of what she would and would not tolerate and strength. And I talked about how she pretends to be strong, yet she's overly emotional. She's insecure. She can't go with the flow. She's literally out in London on this boat, and she's sitting up here the whole entire time asking him, you know, where they're at with the process. She clearly is way more into the relationship than he is. She's asking him if he's talking to other women. She cries when he does stuff nice for her. Like, she was literally about to cry again. But their scene started where she wakes up, and y'all tell me, did y'all notice the face full of makeup, her still having her bracelets on, her hair was set in a certain style, and she was laying on sheets riddled with blood from Tom's nasty nose. And Tom said that within the process of her sleeping, because she had drank too much, she hit him in the nose, and then his nose was bleeding all over the sheets. And she's somehow laying under those sheets with blood on them. Do y'all know how gross that was? But anyway, then she started complaining that Tom treated her with respect and didn't have sex with her, because of course, I told you guys, she's one of those people that think that if a man isn't being sexual with her, then somehow he doesn't like her. And she actually said in this episode that she was feeling insecure based on the fact that they hadn't been sexually intimate yet. And to me, it's just like, okay, so you're not even going to let the process unnaturally unfold. You're not going to let the natural chemistry take place. She's wanting to go there and plan having sex. It's like, did you guys see the look on her face when she said he was completely respectful of her? That's the thing that I'm saying that's mostly problematic, is the fact that she wants this man to basically come in and ravage her. And you can tell based off the way that she came there crying and being overly emotional, he was completely turned off. Now, that's one theory that you can have, but in my opinion, Tom doesn't even like women. He gives me gay vibes. And I mean, if that's what it is, that's fine. But I don't know if anybody else feels like he's straight. I just don't feel like he is. I don't think he likes women at all. He claims that he has this whole host of women. But notice how in the pictures they show of Tom, he's never around one. And so to me, I think that he doesn't like her for other reasons, but even though he's saying that he doesn't like her because she's overly emotional, that's still understandable. I could go with either, really. But he admits that he has other women. because she's in the boat. They can't even take a boat ride without her pressuring things to go forward. Like, I really don't understand women and how it sits okay with them to where they have to ask all these questions. To me, if I have to ask all these questions about how you feel about me or where we stand, to me, we just don't stand anywhere. And I don't understand how these women are okay with that. Like, I get wanting to have a conversation about your relationship and the progression of it, but she's literally like pressuring this dude. Mind you, this is the first time she's meeting him in person. She keeps writing and resting on this whole thing about them knowing each other for 4 years, but it's like, you don't know a person that you've never been around. She's never been around him. He lives clear on another continent, and she's sitting there talking about how long they've known each other. But ultimately, he said that he cut the women off in favor of her. I don't know who believes that. He still have him on a roster, but he's saying that he wants to see how things go with Darcy. I maintain that Darcy and him are not going to last. She's just too insecure, and she's always whining and crying, and she's too needy. But I want to move on to Benjamin and Akenny, because Akenny was in this episode saying, you know, that she wasn't going to pretend to have chemistry with him. She talked about how nervous she was to meet Benjamin. When she finally meets him, she lies to him and his pregnant belly and says that they're attractive. Do y'all notice how all the men on here are out of shape? Even Timothy, who has money, as you sit around talking about the Porsche that he drives, he's out of shape too. Like, all these dudes have beer bellies, and it's not attractive. But anyway, Akenny was worried about not having chemistry with him, but then when she meets him, she says, oh, he's handsome, and she talks about the chemistry that she has. To me, they have no chemistry at all, but whatever. Akenny is looking for money. She already said that she thinks white people automatically have money, so maybe she's pretending to be attractive. She also set up and petted his head and talked about how much she liked the difference that white people's hair is versus black people's hair. I'm telling y'all, like, these people with these fetishes, I don't get it. But they meet up, they are very kissy, and then she says that she has something to tell him that he's not going to like. Ultimately, what she has to tell him is that they have to stay with her brother because her brother has to get approval of him, despite the fact that he rented an Airbnb out there, which he really doesn't like, but still, he still agrees to it. He just says that he doesn't know how long that's going to be. But Avery and her mom and Omar go out to dinner in Beirut, and Avery's mom take it upon herself to do whatever she can to disrespect the Muslim religion and culture. And I don't understand what's up with these people going to Muslim countries and acting like they don't understand the culture of it. Why are you there if you don't want to adhere to their country's policies? That's extremely rude. It's extremely disrespectful. And I keep seeing this pattern on this show several times. I'm gonna need y'all, if y'all are American and you want to wear whatever you want to wear and you want to be this liberated woman, don't go to a Muslim country. Don't attract a man who has a Muslim culture, because you already know how their culture is. Like, I would never even get with a man that was a Muslim. I wouldn't get with any man that was religious in general, because I don't like religious people. But I wouldn't get with a man who is Muslim because I don't want to adhere to their cultural practices. I'm not going to voluntarily get into a relationship with them, go to their country, and then not respect it. And that's what Avery's mom is having. And I get Avery's mom is not the one in a relationship. She was trying to get Avery to drink, knowing, number one, Avery does not drink, because she is being respectful and adhering to the criteria of the Muslim culture. But yet her mom sat there and made multiple negative comments about Muslims, but she came there with preconceived notions about the Muslim religion. So she's making negative comments about it. She's talking about how they beat their women. We're not even going to get into Christianity. And I'm glad that Avery checked her mom and told her, have you read the Old Testament of the Bible? And we don't even have to go on the Old Testament. You can just look at how Christians operate in general. Christianity has literally done more evil than any religion on the face of the planet. And I'm thinking all religions combined. So it's really funny how they will open their mouth to criticize the Muslim religion when Christianity from what I've experienced as a former Christian, is way, way worse. They are far more hypocritical. They also demean and devalue women. The whole women liberation is an American thing. It doesn't have anything to do with religion, because if you went by all of the Europeanized religions, then all of them say that women are beneath men. But in any event, she pulls up information on how Muslims treat their women, and she talks about them beating and abusing them. He assures her that he's not going to do it. He says that's an old part of it. My thing of it is I don't like Avery's mom. Avery isn't the one who's trying to disrespect her relationships. It's her mom that's doing it. And I really don't like it. But I want to go to Rebecca and Ziad, because Rebecca annoys me. Like, I can't deal with Rebecca. Like, honestly, I really can't deal with her. Because Rebecca's whole thing is that she dated a Muslim in the past from Morocco, and that he tried to quote unquote control her, when really controlling her is literally respecting the culture. The same thing I said about Avery going to the Muslim country applies with Rebecca. Why do you keep getting with men who take on the Muslim religion? Why do you keep traveling to countries, but you don't want to adhere to their policies? So Ziad told her that he was willing to go out, but he didn't like that shirt that she was wearing, which was like a silky type lace one that showed some cleavage and had the arms out. Mind you, she has tattoos all over her arm. She knows that she's in a Muslim country. She said that several times. She knows she's in a Muslim country, but she's going to do whatever she wants to. She admitted that she knows that this is a Muslim culture and he's following Muslim practices, but still she interprets this as controlling her. And it's like, he's not controlling you. He's simply telling you you are not in America. That is okay in America, where all the women run around wearing whatever they want to. He literally explained this to her, nearly said it verbatim. But I guess in her remedial childlike mind, because she sat there and dealt with it like a child, she's saying, oh, he's jealous, and oh, he's trying to control me, and I'm not doing it because my last relationship, the dude wanted to control me. First of all, you shouldn't even be in that relationship unless you're over the last one, because if you're going to keep comparing this man to the last man, you need to go deal with the last man, or deal with the hurt from the last man. Ziad is not your last relationship, and the bottom line is, just like you got into a relationship with a Muslim man, then you're in one with a Muslim man now. Clearly she hasn't learned anything, because she hasn't learned that apparently culturally her and Muslim men are not compatible. So why don't she go find a group of men who don't subscribe to the Muslim belief system, and then she won't have those problems. I don't think that he's doing anything by simply asking her to adhere to the standards that they have for women in that country. If you don't like it, then don't be in the country, and don't date the men. Like I said, even Janet Jackson, as big of a celebrity as she is, she adhered to the Muslim culture. She wore a hijab the entire time she was there in Dubai. So the fact that this woman thinks that she doesn't have to is really annoying. She's very arrogant. She's too old to act so childlike. It's just really annoying. But they were sitting in a hookah bar. Another man started looking at Rebecca, and rightfully so, understandably so, because look at how different she looks. You have a woman sitting right next to her covered up completely in hijab. She's sitting up here with a silk lace top on, takes off her jacket, mind you, after she promises Ziad that she's going to keep it on. She's trying to dominate him, mind you. But anyway, she goes against her word. She takes off the jacket, so now she has her body exposed with all these tattoos all over it. Rightfully so, the man is people are in there are looking at her because she's looking like an oddball in there. Ziad gets mad. He gets up to defend her. I don't think it had anything to do with jealousy or control. I just think Rebecca is remedial at this point, and she acts like a child, and she doesn't need to be in a relationship. They get into a back and forth altercation, but someone, quells the fire. So, of course, nobody came to blows. But Rebecca sits here and starts letting it be known that she doesn't even comprehend the difference between jealousy and possessiveness versus culture, and it's a culture that she's willingly, voluntarily wanting to go into. I think for Rebecca, she will only feel good if she's able to get a Muslim man to disregard his religion and culture on account of her. That's what it seems like she wants, and she really doesn't need to do that. What she needs to do is go find her a non-Muslim man, and don't ever go to a Muslim country. He already told her you're not in America. That's the bottom. Really, he shouldn't have even had to tell her that, because she knew what she was doing. She said she'd been to Morocco. So this is not her first rodeo. She's been to Muslim countries before. She just doesn't want to adhere to their cultural rules. And to me, she's trash for that. But moving right along to Caesar. Did y'all notice that every one of these people got a secret? Everybody on this show seemed to have a secret, because Rebecca says she has a secret that she's not telling Ziad, that she has to let him know her secret. So everybody on this show got a secret. Everybody's lying and insecure and whiny. But anyway, Caesar's delusional. He gets to Cancun, to the hotel, and based on his fantasy, he convinces himself that Maria is going to show up and thank him for the room. Now, mind you, Maria is not going to show up. Meanwhile, he sees that Maria is ignoring his messages and she isn't talking to him. And he rationalizes this by saying, well, maybe she's on the plane and she just can't respond. Meanwhile, his luggage is lost, and he's talking about he had a ring in there, that he needs to get his luggage, which they eventually found. He needs to get his luggage so he can propose to Maria. Now, everybody's telling him that either she's catfishing you or she's lying to you, because she's certainly not into you. She's not going to marry him. Remember, the jewelry store people told him that he has a great refund policy, since he's going to end up bringing that ring back, because Maria, number one, is not going to meet him in Cancun. She's just not going to. And he's not going to get married to her. I predict that in the next 2 episodes, Caesar is going to be leaving there because Maria is not going to show up. And even, like, why would this time be any different? 5 different times she doesn't show up, but we're supposed to believe this time is going to be different. Yeah, right. She won't be there. Caesar's going to be delusional with his big pregnant belly and non-matching clothes. And that's just going to be the reality of what it is. It's like, he's so gross. And the reason he's gross is because he could be taking his money and putting it towards himself, rather than sitting there and convincing himself that this woman wants him. That's why people are saying that he's an actor. I don't believe that he's an actor, because number one, he would be a bad actor, and number two, who would want to play the role of a blind person, not literally blind, but of a person who's blind, too blind to see that a woman is using them? What type of man would want to play that role? I would hope that you wouldn't want to broadcast that to on national TV. Now, due to the fact that they play mostly ads, very little of the show was actually shown. And so that's all that happened in this episode. Be on the lookout for the first hour of episode 5, because I will be putting that out before the show airs as well. But thank you guys so much for your support. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you in the next one.